Okay, so far we've got the little tiny fines, small tinder, and then some kindling, and then some fuel right there. Some of it's kind of medium tinder or kindling. Okay. Now that we've gathered our materials, we're going to use this broom sedge and make a couple of bird nests. So, get you a handful, it'll make a bird nest about half the size of this. And basically try to weave it together in a circle. Now, years ago, Susan and I used to collect this and make fire tinder bundles for our wood-burning stove. And we'd take a small amount like that, and we would break it in half several times, and then we take the end, and we would do that, and that would make a fire tinder for the wood-burning stove. But what we're trying to do today is make a bird nest, so I'm going to break it about half that size.
I think mine's a hummingbird nest.
Once you get it balled up, you want to kind of start making it into a circle. Some of this broom sedge is still green. It's probably a few more weeks away from really, really dry. This might be a challenge. Alright, so basically I have a bird nest. And I need something in the middle there to ignite. So, we're going to try some different things. We're not going to start a fire, we're just going to start our tinder bundles so we can see how to do that with different types of embers or fire starting material.
Mine's still pretty small.
You want some more?
Please. I'm just a hummingbird.
We don't have to be huge, but let's be a little more substantial than that.
Sorry. Obviously, I'm a beginner.
Well, this is why we practice. You know, you can't just watch a YouTube video and have the skills. You've got to practice. I'm a member of a Facebook group called Primal Survival for females, Female Primal Survival. Man, I love that group. And one of the things that they preach over and over and over is practice, practice, practice. So, I think I can leave a Facebook link to it on this video. I'll try to remember to do that. See, this would be an example of a very small bird nest for like a hummingbird size. How you doing? Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, that's not bad for your first one. So let's get all these off of the ground. Alright. So, we have 3 little tinder bundles, so we're going to do 3 different fire starting methods. So get your fire kit. And we've got char cloth, lint, fat wood, and Vaseline infused cotton balls. Which one you want to use?
I've used the Vaseline before. I'd like to try the char cloth because I've never...
Okay, here's char cloth.
Should I take it out of mine or just...
I didn't make you any. I have yours so you can make some.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I might have. I think one of them I did.
I'll go back and dig through every one of them till I find
No,
mine.
it might be inside the can is what I'm thinking.
No, you haven't made
Oh,
it.
it's not made yet. Okay, so here's 3 or 4 pieces of char cloth, which is more than you need, but stick this right down in the middle of your bird's nest with your thumbs like it's an egg.
Okay.
Try not to break it apart too much. Right down in the middle.
Okay.
And I'm going to use a Vaseline ball in mine, Neosporin ball.
Explain why you're using Neosporin now instead of Vaseline.
Well, I've always used Vaseline. It's just petroleum jelly. But I was watching refreshing one of the guys I watch, and I think it was the Corporal's Corner. And he says that he never goes into the woods without his Ouchie Boo Boo IFAC, his individual first aid kit. You know, ones for scratches and stuff, because he never comes out of the woods without a scratch. So he puts Neosporin on his Ouchie Boo Boo, and then he takes that cotton ball and puts it in his fire kit. So he's already used it for his ouchie, has Neosporin on it, or triple antibiotic, and then he puts it in his fire kit. So I thought that was pretty neat. And I'm going to use fat wood in the little baby one. Which fat wood's hard to take a spark. It's not really a spark one. It's one you light with a lighter. But we'll stick it in there. Alright. So we have char cloth, fat wood, and Vaseline or petroleum jelly on a cotton ball. So we have different methods to provide the heat. We can strike with a ferro rod. We can use a lighter. We can use stormproof matches. We can use regular matches. But you're going to try your ferro rod for the first time?
Yeah, I've never used a ferro rod.
We also have the magnesium bar. And I'm going to put some of that where I have the fat wood.
I'll use that
Oh,
one.
okay, we'll use Julie's. And what I'm going to do is just scratch with this rounded, serrated end. I'm going to scratch some of this magnesium right in here in this tinder bundle. This stuff will burn at about 5,500 degrees when the spark hits it. That is really, really hot. Like if you're not holding your hands right, it'll burn right into your hand. It's kind of weird. Alright. Now, hold on. So what you want to do is as soon as you get an ember, and it'll just be a little red dot with some smoke, you want to scoop up your bird nest and start providing oxygen. Get it to blow.
Okay.
It'll eventually just go, and when it does, you can drop it.
Okay.
Okay? So just keep in mind, I'm going to move this.
Am I doing this right? I've never done this before.
So if you've never used that rod before, you want to kind of scrape there's two methods of a ferro rod. Now you see where it's already been scraped, so that's
Gerald
where
was
you
trying
want to
it out.
scrape.
Yeah.
There's the method to keep the ferro rod still and use the striker, and what you want is you want to take your 90 degrees and turn it like that. You want to throw the sparks out.
Okay.
The other one is to pull the ferro rod. I kind of like this because I can put the tip directly on what I'm trying to strike, and then push down to it and throw the sparks.
Okay.
So try to put it right in there
And then throw the sparks.
and then throw the spark at it. Might take you a couple times. You might have to do it real quick. Now remember to turn it about 45 degrees so it's on that. There you go. Oh.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, it's not as easy.
You got an ember. You got embers. You got embers. Pick it up. Blow on it. Look at that. Julie.
Okay.
Blow on it. Push your thumb on it. Hold that down. There you go. Blow on it. Okay, give it a second. Let it breathe. Okay, blow on it some more. It might go out if it hasn't caught that stuff on fire yet. I think it went out. Okay. That was pretty good though. You see how tiny the ember was, just very little red. Very, very little red.
Okay, let's do this again.
Turn it, so there you go, just like that. You got an ember.
Do I?
Yeah, you can just see the little red ember right there. You see it? See how quickly char cloth catches?
I don't see the ember.
It's right there.
There it is.
Yeah, it's hot.
It's burning a little bit.
Where's your bellows? Blow on it with your bellows. Jeez, throw your bellows.
This big into me.
Yep, big into you. Yep. You still got an ember right there. Well, what most people do is they hold their bird nest with their hands so they can manipulate it. You only have a little ember there. And why do I use clear lighters? I use it so you can see how much fluid is left in there. Should be in there. Did I not put one in there?
Yeah, I found it.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute, I put a blue one in there.
I was pausing for the
dramatic
dramatic
effect.
effects.
Yeah,
That was it. Dramatic effects.
All right, let's light this bad boy up. Now, of course,
Let me do my left hand.
Of course, there'll be wind.
It lit.
Yeah, but you didn't light the cotton ball. You
Yeah, I
lit the sedge.
Well,
All right, here you go.
same thing. Well, that one worked out well, and your cotton ball fell through.
Yeah, I pushed it through with my thumb. Okay, so that is a tinder bundle made like a bird nest. Okay. So if we were going to make a teepee fire, we would have already had some of the teepee built. And we would take some of these tinder fines and a teepee fire is exactly what you think. You build a little teepee. Oh, sorry. Hard to do when there's a fire raging under your hand. You should have it pre-built, you know. That wasn't planned out right. Alright.
See? So basically, we do the teepee part first before we would start the fire in the
Correct,
bottom,
correct.
Okay.
Thank goodness for leather gloves. We can make a star fire out of it. And what that is just put the ends of the wood in shaped like a star, and as they burn down, you push the ends closer in.
Okay.
So that's a star fire.
Okay. Fire is a fire.
Yeah. Anyway, not ideal. Yeah, keep blowing on that. So let's make a teepee fire the proper way. What we're going to do is make a real teepee fire.
Okay.
So we're going to build our teepee first.
So, like how they keep falling down?
Yeah. You kind of want to have some that have split in them.
Okay.
And you want to kind of stick them together where the split is. This is where your knife would come in handy, is to kind of split the wood
Yeah.
a little bit and have them, once you get a couple of them hooked together, it'll be easier to put the other ones on it. Ideally, you want them all the same length, so they don't fall over. Alright, so this is a nice example of a teepee. And I have access here to put my tinder bundle in and do that. So
You gonna make them another bird's nest?
yeah, I'll make a little bird nest. Just a little one.
Is using pine cones kind of like the same as a bird's nest?
Pine cones are a good fire starter. And all right, so let's use a what else we got? Let's use some lint in here. Lint from the dryer. I went to the laundromat this week and I had to do $27 worth of laundry because everything's so expensive. So I'm just going to put the lint down inside my tinder bundle. How do you want to light this? You want to use wooden matches?
Sure.
I'll get my smalls ready. My fines, I should say, ready. And I'm going to break them really small because this is a small teepee and I need them to get in there without knocking the teepee down. So I'm trying to prep it before.
That'll go on after we light the bird's nest?
Yep. Alright, so this is my strike anywhere matches. Okay, struck it.
Need the blowy?
Well, some of the broom hedge caught, but the lint did not, so let me do it again. There we go. Now we got some of that going. And I'm going to put this right on top of it. Oop. Don't want to knock down the teepee. Get some more pine needle on top. Where's your bellows? You want to blow on that?
Sure.
Give it. We already have heat, we have fuel, now she's giving it oxygen, just keep going. You got the thing pulled all the way out? Because it looks a little short.
No, it's
I guess
out.
it is, okay.
It's just asthma. Is it still going?
It's got a little bit of a smoke, but not much. Let's try it one more. That's the problem with matches. You have a finite number of matches, and they don't always hold the fire very long. That's why a birthday candle is so great, because they'll burn and burn and burn. What I like is the kind that relight, but they're hard to find nowadays for some reason. Ever since the vid. Guess it came from China or something.
Actually, that makes sense, having one that keeps relighting on
Right.
itself, because I know how frustrating it is when you're trying to blow it out. Do I need to blow?
Yeah. Give it a minute to recoup. That should keep burning.
I saw flames.
Alright, so this is a teepee method.
It's actually pretty cool.
Star method could use some more little tinder. There it goes.
Well, you know, I thought that fire was out.
Oh no. Here's those.
Thank you.
Alright, so what we have here is two types of fire. We have a star method where you're just going to push the wood in. As it burns, we'll push it in further and further and further and further. And we have a teepee method. Well, my favorite fire is the upside down fire. And that's where you put your larger wood on the bottom, kind of like a log cabin. And as you go up to the top, you put your smaller kindling there, and then the tiny kindler, then your tinder, and then your tinder bundle. And then you light that, and as that burns, it drops embers down inside and catches the larger ones on fire.
She made one at my house a couple weeks ago. It was pretty awesome. Of course, I wasn't paying attention on that time, so still pretty awesome.
So we're just picking up all this excess broom sedge, just keeping that fire going. And really, I should be putting more smalls on this here, smaller tinder, which you can break really small because it'll burn no matter what size it is, as long as it's dry.
And eventually the wood will catch.
Yeah. So you can put other pieces of wood up on your teepee. So basically we have the teepee going, we have the star going, we're about to do a lean-to.
Okay.
You could use your knife as well, but hold on. So what you want is to press down really hard and just scrape little pieces of magnesium off of there.
Okay.
You can use the back too. If you had a knife, you would be doing that way.
Oh,
See?
yeah. Thank you.
So push down really, really hard with the edge of it. Yeah. If your knife is sharp, you can use a knife as well.
Let's try that.
Alright, so let's try to get the magnesium all in one spot there.
Then you scrape some more.
Let me see your knife. Are you using the back or the front? You're using the
There's the
front.
front.
Right?
I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
No, use the front, that's fine. Alright. Now get your ferro rod. Here's your knife. I'm going to get some more sticks ready.
So since I won't be lifting it up, I'm not going to wear my gloves.
You don't have to, yeah.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Wish me luck. Gosh darn it. There you go.
Alright, now start covering up with the leaves. Keep feeding that fire with the little tiny tinder stuff. Give it something to eat. Fire needs to eat. Get you a stick and poke it in there. Alright, take some of those logs on the side of the lean-to and lay them right over the fire. on, I'm going to push some of these into the star. They're starting to burn pretty good.
Where my bellow is. Do I need to bellow it, or?
I think it's going pretty good. What you want to do is get some of these dry ones over the top of it.
Okay.
And this is ideal if you have a lot of wind, because this log here will prevent the wind from blowing it out, but feed it underneath. That looks good, Julie.
Thank you. I finally started a fire. Yeehaw. Now, when the TP fire drops like that, you could add more wood and just build it up.
We could have added it while it was burning. I saw it burning, but I just was worried with the other fire.
Yeah. Just asking.
But you can add more to it. You can prop up more TP wood, or you can just toss it on there like that.
Okay, so this one that you're doing, your upside down fire.
This is my upside down fire.
So you put logs.
What I've done is log cabin 3 rows up.
Uh-huh.
And then I put a bunch of smalls, less than my thumb size, built like a little grill. And then really, really tiny ones on top of that, like this. And then whatever I'm going to use to ignite, which is my tinder bundle, which is leaves and some sedge. Just a little bit of this broom sedge. What I did is fold it over, fold it over, fold it over, and then that's going to be the upside down fire. So I'm going to put this broom sedge underneath all the leaves. And I'm going to take a piece of fat wood and light it with my lighter, and then put it on the tinder bundle and use the bellows to blow it, keep it going.
But
Maybe you're saying.
I'm not sure about that either. What am I looking for? A lighter?
A lighter.
Here's a lighter.
Alright, so I'm just going to light this fat wood. See how fat and dark black? And I'm going to stick that down inside this little tinder bundle here. If I didn't stick it out, yeah, there we go. Still burning? Doubtful. Yeah, that didn't work. It's not really ideal to use fat wood as what you're starting with. I just want to show it's possible. Here, let's do this. Oh. Yeah, we could take from another fire. Alright. Here's your lighter. Thank you. And of course, we need more tinder bundle stuff.
Seems like the most important thing is your tinder bundles.
And that's why you need 10 times more of that stuff than anything else. You got it, it's burning. Alright, so we have set fire with lighters, matches, magnesium bar, ferro rods, Vaseline soaked cotton balls and dryer lint. I think that's pretty good. What do you think?
That's pretty good.
Alright, let this get going. We'll show you why this is such a cool fire. This is really good for fire pits because usually there's a ring of rocks or whatever around it. The teepee collapsed because I wasn't tending to it because we were working on these other fires. If it didn't collapse, you would just keep laying sticks up in a teepee formation. The star one is almost done. You could push the logs in a little more. Yeah, and that you see how as the ends burn, you just continue to push the logs in. And then this is the lean-to fire, and eventually that windbreak log will catch also. We'll give you a good one. But this is my favorite fire. This is the upside down fire. You put the tinder on top instead of on the bottom, like in a log cabin or crisscross. You put the tinder bundle down on the ground and you build the log cabin around it, and it catches the fire to the logs as it burns up. This, you put all the tinder and kindling on the top, and as it burns down, the embers drop inside and catches the larger logs on fire. I see some of those were wet because you can see the moisture on some of them, and yet it's still burning.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. So we'll let this burn a little bit. We'll come back, show you what it looks like. And the wind is kicking up a little bit, and I've thrown some more kindling on top, and it is really going crazy. What we found was a very old cedar tree. Had been down for several years and it's very, very dry. So we threw that on there, and man, it's just loving life. But that is my favorite fire, folks, right there. You see how, I don't know if you can see in there, some of the platform is dropped down inside. Now it will catch the logs in the log cabin on fire. That's pretty neat. That lean-to's about burned out. The star is almost burned out. The teepee is nearly non-existent. So we have 4 different fire types right here. I'm not going to do a Swedish log and a Dakota hole. Dakota hole requires that you have soft ground, and I do not have soft ground here. So I'm going to attend to this a little more, put a little more. You want to put some more sticks on there, Julie? Smaller one, smaller than your thumb. Across the top there, yeah. Oh!
Whoa, well,
yeah, just keep going, don't stop. Put some of these cedar on there.
Yeah, the cedar is nice.
It is nice. It takes a long time to dry out enough to do this, though. More than a year. So I can see that one of the logs on the bottom is already caught. But yeah, this is nice. That's my favorite fire.
I can see why this cedar one has caught on fire, the windbreak part.
Right. Well, that's a very dry cedar tree.
Yeah.
But yeah, you would just ideally just keep leaning wood on it to feed it, but we don't need to feed these. We're trying to demo these, not trying to cook over them.
So you can cook over that?
You could, yeah. You could. You'd have to put a grate on it once the logs started. You'd have to put a grate or use some green limbs over the top. You could cook over that, but ideally that is best for marshmallows.
Well, that's what I was thinking, cooking.
But as you can see, we have lots of different fire starting methods, and it just takes practice. Like the char cloth, it's very flammable, but it only gives you a tiny ember, so you have to have some really dry tinder in a tinder bundle for it to catch, which we learned today that our broom sedge is not quite dry enough.
Right.
Now, have we lined those birds' nests with these dry oak leaves, it would have flamed up like crazy. But then it would have been really difficult to hold, and we probably would have both screamed like a couple of girls and thrown it on the ground. So practice, practice, practice. If you have a fire pit at home, practice, practice, practice. Try not to use things that you would not find out in nature or in your fire kit. So, ooh, that popped. Something was wet. So you don't want to use like used cooking oil or motor oil and things like that, because if you're out camping, you're not going to have that stuff with you. You know, if you had the forethought to take some Vaseline cotton balls, that's great. Now you hear that hissing sound? That's some of this wood is wet. Even though it was been down for months and months and months, now that the logs have caught fire, you can see the moisture coming out at the end of the log. So some of these are wet.
Smoke's going right.
Oh yeah. What do you think?
I love it. I'm going to really practice that one at home.
Yeah, that's a good one for your fire pit. Yep.
Definitely.
Now there's another one I don't have on the paperwork. It's called a parallel log. And it's basically two of these logs side by side with a gap in between them. Put your tinder and your kindling in there. Make a little grill with some larger kindling, light that tinder bundle, and then the two logs together will burn the sides out.
Oh, that's cool. I could practice that too.
Yeah, that's an easy one to practice. Yeah. Even though this wood's been down for months and months and months and months and months, you can still see a little moisture in some of them, because some of them were laying on the ground. We typically like to get wood that's kind of propped up, even though it's dead. You want it kind of propped up. Wow, the wind is really kicked up.
Might need to put that out.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to take this bucket over to our water and get it, and we're going to put these three out. Let that burn just a little bit longer.
Because it's the coolest fire.
Well, because, yeah, it is the coolest fire.